Hi guys and welcome. Today we're going to do some punched frame tags, or just ephemera if you want to call them that. So they'll go onto any projects, and I've used a circle punch, a couple of different sizes, and just to get the frame effect to make it easy. So we've got some vellum. That one's vellum, but it's on the back of cardstock, so you can use them as little journaling spots as well. But they're a little bit of fun, just a different take on a specimen card, some ephemera tags if you want to do it. So grab some little stamps, because you'll need, depending on the size of your circle punch, but you'll need some smallish ones. So we've done some numbers. Just had a bit of a play around. So okay, let's make a couple. So we'll just pop these off to the side. You could even do it with stickers, flowers, butterflies, whatever that you had big enough to go into the circles. Now I've got 4 different size punches here. So we've got 2 size frames that we're doing. So we've got that size, and then we've got that size, and then you could go bigger again, just depending on what size punches that you had. But this one here we're using, and these are EK Tools or EK Success punches. This one's 1 1/4, and then the bigger one we've got is 1 3/4. So there's basically a half an inch difference between the 2 sizes that you use. And then your big one is 2 inch. 2 inch will give you the outside, and then the inside 1 1/2. So you can see it's a half an inch difference again. And then you just punch them out. So I'll show you how to do that. Grab some paper and go craft stock. So to get your bases, you go the bigger one and you'll get your bases. I've done the bases in a light color, so you can go white or cream, just something light so you can punch on them. So that becomes your base. Punch a couple out. And then to get the frame, I usually pick a different color, or you can go the same color and ink it, which I've done on a couple of them. So you go your smallest one first. So you'd punch a couple of out in your small ones. Just leave enough space between the 2, because you're going to get 2 frame sizes out of that. Now these bits you can keep for something else. They might come in handy. Don't ever throw your scraps out. And then we get the half size up size, so the bigger one that we've done our bases in, and you just eyeball it. That's the beauty about these EK Tools punches. You can turn it over and eyeball it, and then you've got your frame. Eyeball it again. Eyeball it again. And that's how easy it is. And then the same with the big one, or the bigger one. And you can get punches bigger than the 2 inch as well. You can go up to, I think 2 1/2 is the biggest one. And then the same, we punch our base out with the bigger one. This one needs an oiling. It's getting quite old. It's a bit creaky. That's how I feel some days. I feel a bit creaky. And then we get our different size. We'll just use the craft again. And we go the smaller one, which is a ½ inch smaller than the big one that we've just used, or the outside frame. And then you get your big one back again, and you just eyeball it to try and get it fairly even. And then we've got our frames. So we might stamp a couple to start with, and I'll show you what I did with that. So I'll just pop them in their right sizes off to the side. And we'll grab a couple of, or one small one, one big one. So if you've got any little sayings or small stamps, they'd be ideal to pull out and have with these ones. So I've actually got a bee, so we'll start with the bee. And he actually will go on both sizes, so we'll just stamp him on the small one. I can't quite get my head over that to line it up, but that's pretty good. You don't want to see a shot of my head. And then the other one, you can grab a number. So I've got a number here. I might do it in the blue. Now with my other ones, I stamped and then stamped off to get it a lighter color, but I'm just going to go the dark color on here. Lovely. It's a really dark Seafarer is the name of that one. So you can, to get a lighter color, you can stamp it off once and then stamp it on. You'll see you get more of a denim-y type of color. And then I would ink around them. I know that's going to get covered up, but it gets your edge done as well, because no matter what color you're working on, you don't want to highlight the edge when you're sticking things together. And then if you want to distress it a bit more, you can come over into where it's stamped. See the difference? And you can go around it again once you put your frame on. Now your frame, we might just go craft with both of these ones. I actually use these circles a lot just to add texture and a point of interest in clusters. You'll see if you have a look at my lace and faux button video, you'll see how I've added these into clusters. I'll put the link below. That noise you'll hear is my husband mowing. Well, I think it's my husband. It could be my father's come up to mow. It has been raining most of the day today, so maybe they've found a break in the weather. And then we just get our art glitter glue and we can stick the frame on. And they're really easy to line up because the outside is the same size. So if we pick this up and then we pop that on there, and you'll feel edge to edge like that, to edge like that, and you'll get a perfect fit every time. Now, if you wanted to make it look more specimen-like, you can use some acetate or any clear film and punch it out the same size as your background, stick it on, and then put your frame on the top. And if you want to ink it more, you can, or at least go around the outside again. Like that, beautiful. Let's stick this one on. So you could put anything in the middle of these. You could even just stamp a script stamp across and just highlight that as a tag. And get around again. So there's two that are just stamped. And then if we have a look, I did a number on this one, similar to the number that I just did, which we'll do one. I'll just grab a number beside me. Let's just go with the 785 out of the field notes. And we might go black this time because I think I did a red one before. We can go a single number like that, And then you create more of a tag type effect, or you might just want it as a button. Now we'll go black border. Now these aren't real shiny, these ones, because I've used this beautiful black recycled paper, but if you wanted to go just plain cardstock, you get more of a darker outline on it. But I like the old look of this recycled paper. So by putting the eyelet on this, you can make it into a dangle. So you could add some ball chain on that. You could tie it on. You could just stick it on a cluster like that with the tag ends hanging off. You could put some sari silk on it. I'll just find my crocodile. And just eyeballing the center there again. Got an eyelet out. They're a bit of a snug fit, these eyelets, which is good because they don't fall off when you go to finish them off. Now I would also ink the back just to get rid of that stark edge, and it's a great little journaling spot as well. So that's them with the eyelet. And then we had some vellum ones. So what I did there, I printed some vellum or some images out on vellum, and then I have got the biggest, so the biggest punch that I'm using for the frame, and punched out an image. So let's punch out an image. Across there, and we might do the smaller one on this one. So we get our 1 3/4 punch, which is the size of the background that we're doing, and punch him out. And there's two ways you can go. So this one I actually put on the cardstock background. This one I left clear. Now you can, I haven't, but you can add another frame on the back of that, and I'll show you what that looks like. Depending on how you were going to use it in your journal. So if you're going to have it as a dangle, yes, by all means, put a frame on the back as well. If you're unsure, just leave it with the front one like that, which is what we're going to do with the beetle. I'll grab a frame ready. Actually, I wonder what a craft frame would look like. No, we'll stick with black. And then just your art glitter right to the edge. Your frame's going to cover it up anyway. And as you know, it's a perfect alignment every time because you use the same size punch. And that's your vellum. And you can also print on acetate and have that completely clear. I just didn't have any printed this morning, which I must get some done. Beautiful. So that's the vellum. And then I thought, well, given that it's a frame, let's have a little bit of a play around with some photos. So I grabbed a couple of I forget what set they're from, and the Tim Holtz ones, and I've done exactly the same process, which we'll do a couple and put the frame around it. But I also thought too, to bring the paper dolls in somehow. I mean, we can cut it off and treat it like a photo. So I'm going to do that. I haven't done one before. So you would roughly work out, you would stick him on, but I wanted to stress the back. You could stamp a bit of script on the back there if you wanted, didn't want it so plain, but we'll leave it plain just because this is our tester. But I'll just distress, grunge up the background a little bit like that. And then we don't want to go too high because we're putting our frame on, remember? So we can bring him down a little bit. Great. So if you've only got the paper dolls and not so much the photos, then you can still make these. So we will stick him on the back with glue. That way we can position him. And we had him down a bit. So just to give it a look before it dries, we can probably go up a little bit. Lovely. And then we would just turn that over, and then you would just hand cut that around. I mean, it even looks awesome just like that. So you could make some just like that as well. We might put a craft, given it's a fairly dark photo, we might ink a craft frame up and do that. Might ink it quite heavily. I'm using walnut stain ink. It's probably my favorite. And I love working with this craft because once you ink it, it actually looks a little bit like suede. And then you can add more ink. You could even go darker. You could ink that with a bit of black. I'll just get my archival, and I'm just going to, just to give it a really fine black border. It'll be that fine that you'll hardly even see it. I might go a bit thicker. Go on the edge. There we go. Oh, I might do the top a little bit just to even it out a bit. Lovely. You could even, with these borders, you could put a border down like that, and you could stamp an image on it or a pattern or a script and then ink it up. That would look really awesome. We might even do one of those actually for one of these next photos. So let me do that first. I might go with a light color and a little bit darker color and see how that inks up. I'll just grab a script stamp. So I'm just going to use the ledger script. I'll use the small one. Should be able to just stamp them both together. And then we add ink to them. So you can see it just gives it a whole new effect as well. You could punch these out of some patterned scrapbook paper. Good way to use up your scraps. You could even stamp these out before you punched them out. So you could do like a whole background card and then punch them out. Okay, so let's do a photo one. Let's turn that over. Just put another one down so it's clean. All right, so we're working on the bigger ones. So we're going to need the big 2-inch one. And which one do we want to do? We'll do the, no, we just did a man before. Let's do the lady. She's got a bit of colour in her. Once again, just remember that where your frame's going to cover, so you want it fairly even. Punched her out there. Now it's fairly thick, so you don't necessarily need to add that to your back piece, because you could ink that up and still have it as a journaling spot. So all you would need to do is to add your frame like that. I might just ink that a little bit heavier. Yep, beautiful. If you want to have a look with the black around it. She's got a little bit of blue in her. You could have blue around it. Obviously you'd ink them up, but let's go with the one that we've done. I love making things like this because I love having different types or different pieces of ephemera to throw into your journal, add to a cluster. So if you've got little different things in there that, you know, these types of things you could build on. So you could put some lace behind that. You could add it to a tuck spot, have it as a feature on, you know, I've got a tag here. For example, you know, put a bit of lace behind it and put on a tag like that, and your project's done. It'll just change what you're doing dramatically, really. Here's just a partly started tag. You know, you could put some labels on there or do anything to add to that. But that's that one. Let's do another one. Because we've got a patterned frame, let's do a plain black and white photo. I love these two girls, so let's give some equal distance to them. They are a little bit off to the side, but that black stripe, if you can see that, that's going to be covered up by frame. So you just center the photo. Beautiful. They look like sisters, either sisters or best friends. And you could put an eyelet in that if you wanted to have it as a tag. I'm not going to, because I'm still not 100% on how I'm going to use it in the journal. I think it'll be more around on the clusters and on tags, so I don't want to add any bulk to it, but I might just go on the outside just to define that outside. Leave the inside paler. So there's a lot of different effects you can get with your inks. And the best is to just add a bit. So don't go too dark to start with, and then you can add to it. Like you might think, well, okay, I want to define that in black, so you might necessarily want to ink it like I did before. You might have a black ink that you will daub and feature around the outside like that. All right, beautiful. And then, you know, of course you can go different colors, so stamp that in red. You can go a script stamp on the background, blue, because I know I'm going to be working on a denim type of journal, so I wanted some blue. I like the plain too, like same color, and you just ink just lightly on the outside. What else do we have? You know, anything green like that will go automatically into a botanical journal, or you know, something to do with bugs, so you're not limiting yourself too much. If you got some little vintage stamps, your Tim Holtz tiny, I forget the whole name, but it's tiny something, have a lot of little stamps like that. I think there was that one. You know, we've got the owl, the mushroom one, and if you don't have too small stamps, remember you can stamp off a little bit. So that's that one there. So it was obviously too big, but I've brought it down just to feature that, and you know that your frame will cover some of it up anyway. And then your numbers, I mean, who doesn't love numbers? They go in every project, I think. Birds, you could add some little stickers, so you could get there and add a little butterfly sticker. I think I've got, let me have a look. That might be just some ephemera. Let's see if I've got a little butterfly. So a little butterfly like that. Let's quickly do that one. Just to show you that, I might do a small one. Now we'll go with the big one. So you can utilize all your little small ephemera. I think Tim Holtz has got the small field notes ones, so some little miniature stuff in there. I mean, even you could put something bigger on there. You could stamp. We might just show if I've got just a secondary stamp of what we stamped before, just to get a very faint, oh, it wasn't quite. Let's do it with the oxide. Just a very faint background, just to give a little bit of point of interest. Pop our butterfly on. And then what colour? Just going to darken this a little bit. So you can see, even as you're working your way through the ones you've already made, your creativity just takes over. You think, oh, I could do that, or oh, I might have a go at that. But yeah, get your stickers out, get your ephemera that you've got already cut out. I might add a little bit of black on the outside of that one just to show you. So I'll just do it with the archival. Just different, just experiment, have fun. And that'll just define it. Just that little bit, grunge it up. You could do this same border with your numbers if you didn't want the stark black border, you just wanted a grunged border. But there you go, guys, just something a little bit different. You know, you can, if you had square punches, you could do a similar thing or use dies, but because I already had the circle punches and I've got a lot of different sizes, I thought I would give these a go and have a little bit of fun with them. But I hope that's inspired you to pull your punches out and have a go, and get your stamps out, your photos. You know, you could make a little, you could have like a little family portrait all on a tuck like that. How good would that look? There's just so much you can do with them, and I love having things like this in my stash to pull out ready when I'm doing a project. But thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would love you to do that. And if you enjoyed today, please hit like, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks guys, and have a great day.